Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, news, music, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Permiotis, on social media. You know me as PD Beats. My guest is a musician, very soon releasing a music video and a single. Siena Streiber is with us. Siena, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
I'm excited to chat with you. It's an exciting time. I mean, a music video, a single is coming out soon. It's like the calm before the storm a little bit. What's that been like for you a little bit before it's going to be released?
It's weird. It's a weird feeling. I keep like forgetting that it's happening, and then I remember and I'm reminded, and I kind of go through moments of being super nervous about the release, and then moments of calm where I'm just like, you know what, once it's out in the world, it's out in the world. And you know, it's like almost like, you know, it becomes sort of, it's still your song, but now it's open to everyone in interpretation, and I'm just excited for it to get to that point.
Absolutely. What can you tell us about the creative behind this song and this music video? Like what was put into this specific song that we're going to hear on Friday?
Yeah, so I wrote a ton of new music in 2020, just in quarantine and being home and kind of trying to keep my creative juices up. And I was writing a lot of songs about heartbreak and specifically like the sort of thing that happens with friendships where like one person likes the other and it's complicated and it's messy. And I was just sort of inspired by that. And for me, I really just wanted to capture that feeling of, you know, when a friendship, you know, once sort of like romantic feelings are expressed and they're not reciprocated, like what happens to the friendship after that, right? Yep. And you know, what do? Do you try to go back to the way things were? Do you try to rebuild from kind of the place you're at now? And I think for me, writing this song was a way to explore all of those feelings and emotions. And in a huge way, writing the song was a big form of closure for me, because I think something that I realized from that relationship was I was kind of trying to force something to happen or force something to go back to the way that it had been, when really we kind of both just needed to like let things lie, you know, figure out our own emotions and feelings and processing the whole thing. And, you know, I ended up realizing like, you know, just because something can't get back to what it was doesn't mean it wasn't good while it was good. And I really wanted, I wanted the video to sort of reflect that. And instead of kind of going more story driven, we did more of like a high concept thing with lighting and playing with lights and how light can really express a lot of emotions. And you know, sometimes you're really up and there's chaos and there's lights going off everywhere, and that's kind of at the height of emotion. And then you know, when you're feeling low and everything's kind of dim and mellow. And I think we did a good job sort of capturing that in the video as well, which was great.
Absolutely. It's an interesting time in music right now where a lot of people are kind of throwing a lot of styles and genres like together. There's a lot of genre bending going on. I mean, people that are going to listen to the song, you know, there is obviously that country component to it as well. What would you kind of say your like genre of music is, Siena?
It's I mean,
it's tough, right? Yeah.
It's to your point. To your point, it's tough. I mean, I think a lot of people, myself included, especially with my first album that I put out last year, would say, oh, you know, definitely country, definitely folk. And I'd say there's a lot of that. I mean, like I'm inspired by, you know, Taylor Swift and Casey Musgraves and Maggie Rogers and, you know, especially a lot of earlier work of theirs. And then I think with this song and a lot of the work that I'm working on now and that I have been working on I've just realized, you know, there isn't a certain genre that I necessarily fit into. I think if I had to, it would be in the sort of like pop folk category.
Yeah, but you should limit yourself. Like I feel like we don't have to limit ourselves and put ourselves in a box, right?
Yeah, totally. No, I think I mean, I think several artists have sort of proved that time and time again. And I think, there are a lot of artists up and coming and current who would definitely agree with the sentiment that, genres are kind of not becoming obsolete, but there's just this sense of genres, uh, starting to merge and things changing. So I think
For sure.
as the music industry continues to flourish, more and more artists won't feel like they have to stay in, a certain box and just in order to be heard.
Absolutely. I'm excited to ask you this question because I ask a lot of musicians this question, and you always get a different answer because I feel like it depends on the artist and the musician. But when like the songs that you put out, when people listen to them, in terms of whether you know that they are a good song per se, or like you're happy with a song, when does that happen? Is it while you're writing it or recording it? Is it when you play it back for the first time? Does it depend on each song? Like, when do you know you're on to something special?
It's a really good question. I think it totally depends. I think there are some artists, and I've had this, where the second you get the idea and you're sitting there alone, whether it's like with your piano or your guitar, you instantly know like this is going to be really good, even before you've heard production. And then I think for a lot of other artists, and I do this too, and I think this happened with me with this song, is where I didn't really see or hear where it could go. I think that there were a lot of directions the song could have gone in, and it really, I don't think for me wasn't until I got into the studio with my producer, Johnny Hansen, who's this amazing producer who kind of like played me something that he thought would, like, it was like a little melody on the guitar, and then we just started layering and layering, and I think there was a moment in the studio where like we added in the drums, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, this is it. This is like, we're good. We can stop here. So I think like seeing it come alive in the studio is totally a different feeling. And getting to the final product is amazing. I think also like every artist, and myself included, has the tendency to want to like continue to tweak something after it's done.
100%. It happens all the time. We strive to
Yeah,
make it different and better. It happens naturally, for sure.
exactly. Yeah, but I don't know, with this one it was like we finished it, and I remember he like emailed me the final file the night we finished it, and we both just were like, this is it. This is like good to go. This is golden. So it was a really great feeling to have that done. And like blasting it in the car on the way home. Super fun.
We've already established that it's a bit tricky to pinpoint the exact genre of music that Siena Streiber puts together and people
Mhm.
get what exactly people are consuming. Regardless, they are consuming music, they are consuming Siena Streiber's songs.
Mhm.
You are hoping, obviously, that people enjoy it and people listen to it and they recommend it to their family and friends. Diving deep into it a little bit more, what exactly do you hope people get out of listening to Siena Streiber's music?
I really hope that people get what I get out of the artists that I really love, which is they are writing from an incredibly personal place, whether it's about loss or heartbreak or falling in love. And I think that those songs are so specific to their experiences and what they went through. And yet, at the same time, there's such a universality to those songs because everybody can relate to themes of heartbreak, loss, and falling in love. And so for me, if at least one person, listens to this song and says, oh my gosh, I fell in love with my best friend and things got really messy and complicated, and this song totally clarifies that for me and expresses exactly what I was feeling and I couldn't articulate it, like that would make me super happy. Is just people just connecting to the emotion of the song and being able to sort of relate it to their own experiences.
It's been obviously very difficult for a lot of musicians during the pandemic because, you can't play live shows. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of experimenting, a lot of learning experiences for the artist. Did you see yourself doing a lot of self-reflection as an artist during these times where you weren't able to see that many people or play shows or tour or do things? What was that kind of like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think I thrive off of other people and other artists. And I've always been someone that tends to sort of write by myself. I think, but for the first time in 2020, I really missed going to shows and meeting new artists and talking to other artists frequently and just getting to like be in a room with artists and kind of just like jamming until 2 a.m. and that all just kind of disappeared. And so
Yep.
I think in the isolation of quarantine in 2020, there's definitely a lot of self-exploration that you do as an artist, and you think, am I writing the kind of music I want to be writing? Am I kind of going down the path I want to be going down? Am I writing about the things that, are the most meaningful to me? And I think one of the things that I learned were just, the people and the friends and the family that were the most important to me during that time. And I think it made me realize how sort of precious life is. And that I think really helped and informed, okay, this is the kind of art I want to be making. And also not like comparing myself to other artists, because every artist from, the biggest artists with, the biggest record deals, the biggest tours, to like the smaller indie artists who are just kind of doing stuff on TikTok or whatever, like everyone is going through the same thing and feeling writer's block and feeling, fatigue or burnout. And I think it just was a really nice moment to kind of just sit and chill and reflect on all of those things. And I'm actually really grateful that I had that time.
Absolutely. Siena, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
So, the music video and the song is coming up pretty soon. They're going to be able to check that out. Plug away. So, new music video, new single. Where can people follow you on social media? Plug away, Siena.
Yeah, so the new single "Always Be a Friend" comes out on Friday, April 23rd, and you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, basically anywhere you stream music, you can find it. And you can follow me on all my socials: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and it's all just at Siena Streiber. So it's my full name, pretty easy to find me. But there will be more music to come in 2021 from me. So this is not the end.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Siena Streiber and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.